absolutely impressed with all the incredible talent and energy that I've seen today. I've met a few women entrepreneurs, a few young people who are working on innovative solutions to change the local community, and that's what we need. So I'm Yasmine. I grew up in Rabat, and when I was 17 years old, I had this dream to travel the world. I had no idea how. I didn't have any money, but I had passion and desire to have an impact in this world. So I left my country and I traveled around 40 countries across the world in about 50 US states on a bus, because I wanted to learn about different cultures and I wanted to break down stereotypes about Morocco and the region. Along the way, I met amazing people from every walk of life who are working on innovative solutions to change their local, regional, and international communities. And I have learned one important thing about life, that life is all about human connections. You need people to build businesses, to collaborate with them, to raise funding. And I was thinking about what is a way that we can build a technology that allows this flow of ideas and exchange in a way that is authentic. So authenticity was a big theme in my life. So I built a Family Voyage, a technology platform that uses machine learning and algorithms to match like-minded people together to have authentic cultural experiences. So I'll give you an example. Someone is interested in tourism or interested in education and wants to go to Silicon Valley, but doesn't know anybody there, doesn't know where to stay. Travel is expensive. So how can we democratize travel, the travel industry, and make it accessible for anybody who has the same energy and passion to travel the world and connect with like-minded people? So you go on Voyage and you create a video. Talk about yourself, your mission, what you have to offer to the world, and what you hope to gain. I mean, everybody here in this room has amazing ideas, and I've heard them. So what I've learned is people want to meet you from across the world. They've never been to Morocco, they've never been to Africa. So they want to welcome you in their homes, or they want to have coffee with you. So what I built is that system to allow this interconnectedness and cultural exchange so that I can feel welcome wherever I go. So one of the initiatives I'm currently working on is called We-Mena, and it's basically a business plan competition. We have $150,000 in grants, so I don't know what that is in dirhams, $1 million. To find innovative solutions that are working on resilience. Now, what is resilience? Resilience. Anything around climate change, education, health, solutions that are going to impact our local community. We are wanting to hear from you, and we're wanting to hear your visions and how we can support you. So we've collaborated with the World Bank, you might know it, at La Banque Mondiale, and we are focusing on 3 pillars. One is to promote gender inclusion. As you know, only 25% of women in the Middle East and North Africa participate in the workforce, compared to the global average of 50% rate. So how do we encourage more women to build businesses so that we can create more jobs? As you can tell, we are in a critical place today, and we want to focus on population growth, solutions that focus on climate change, scarce water resources, and vulnerable communities to bridge the divide and basically create change in the world. So some of the things that we want to equip these women with are mentorship and training. So we're traveling to 8 cities across the region: Tunis, Rabat, Casablanca, Cairo. We were just there this past week. We're going to Lebanon and different countries to meet with these women, to meet with these youth, and really understand what are the challenges and opportunities. How can we, one, help them, and how can we support each other? Because every person has the ability to help another person. One thing I've learned actually in my travels is that when you ask for help, people are willing to help you, so never be afraid to ask for support. Just as long as you are passionate and authentic, people are willing to help you. The second one is capacity building. So I'm really looking to meet people here in Morocco and elsewhere in the region who are interested to work with us on training in different areas, especially in the rural areas. Because if we want to develop grow the ecosystem in our countries, we also have to think about people who live in rural areas and people who live outside of the cities. And it was really exciting to meet people today from Krivka, and I've never been there, so as a person from Rabat, it's really interesting to have that perspective within our country, to travel across different regions and understand the different challenges that people are facing. And again, as I told you, we have $150,000 in grants. There's a platform that we are working with in Silicon Valley called Unudo that does all the identification and the selection of this project using specific criteria. And finally, Voyage is sponsoring a Voyage trip to the US. So we will select the winners here in Casablanca in April 2017. And we will bring these women to the US to stay with local families and have training with some of our local partners. So this is called We-Mena, and there's the website right behind me, and encourage all of you to apply. And even if you're not a woman and you want to be involved, you could be a judge, you could be a mentor, you could be an advisor. So everybody is involved, and we welcome all types of talent. Now back to my personal journey. I'm 23 years old. As you can see, I'm very passionate about my mission. I care about connecting people across the world. I actually care about each one of you in the room and how I can personally help you. But I learned that it's impossible to do that one-on-one. So I developed this platform so that we can bring back our humanness. How do we bring back the offline interactions? It's great to use technology to connect online or Facebook and all these amazing platforms. But how do we develop a world where we're curious about each other? And if I'm going to Krivka or Marrakesh, I want to meet the locals. I want to understand how they live, what they eat, and how they think, and how I can help and how they can help me. So this is my personal mission. Voyage is the platform that allows me to do it, but it's also something that I want to be working on for the rest of my life. I recently was having a conversation with a few women in Cairo, and it's so inspiring to see people who have absolutely, some of them really nothing, yet they're so driven and very perseverant to not give up. So I encourage all of you, entrepreneurs, anyone in the room and elsewhere, since I'm Facebook Live, which is awesome, it's the first time, to not give up and to keep pushing the limits, and especially to ask for help. Because with our common understanding of our challenges, then we can come together, collaborate, and bridge divide and have an impact at the local, national, and international level. So I don't like to talk very much. I usually like to have a one-on-one conversation, mutual exchange. So I'm going to leave the last 10 minutes that I have for questions. You can ask me a question, you can ask me for a problem that you have, and how am I able to help you, or anything that you want me to share. I'm very open and curious, and really, again, congratulations for all the great ideas that you have, and to many of you for putting this together. So important to come together as a community of like-minded people to exchange and to collaborate and, just rock and roll, guys. Let's do it. Questions?
Hi, Yasmine. Actually, since we met in Cairo, I really wondered what is Voyage, and I was asking all people from Moroccan delegation. Nobody can explain what is Voyage, and now that I understand it, I really can't wait to have the first version of this platform. But my question is simple: when can we have it?
So, one of the challenges with building a startup is growth. Like, can you handle the growth, right? Everybody thinks I have a launch Voyage, but I actually have. But the strategy that I've been using is private networks. So rather than just launching Voyage in the world, I work with like-minded organizations and networks. It's Start Up Your Life is a private network within Voyage. So the people who haven't met within Start Up Your Life can meet each other. If I'm interested in education or, you're working on provide a network for the startup community, and also to invite you, all of you actually, to join. Just shoot me an email. Yasmine@voyage.com.
I really love the idea.
Thank you.
Correct.
I have a question. When you talk about voyage, how did you convince the people from outside when you see all what's happened in the MENA region? I mean, people are honestly afraid about to go to Tunisia, to Egypt, also to Morocco in Africa. What kind of things can you use or you do to tell the people to use this application, especially in Arabic words?
That is a brilliant question. And the question actually, what you were saying is what inspired me to build Voyage, because when I was 17 years old, the US State Department sponsored me to come to Kansas for a year and to break down stereotypes about the Arab world. And I realized that there's a lot of disconnection. People are not aware. Not that they want to stereotype against our region, or it's just they don't have access to the information. So what I did was a personal commitment that I'm going to go to all 50 states and take a bus and talk to any stranger who's willing to talk to me. And I really was really difficult at first, but over time you realize if people can feel that you care about them, they will talk to you and they will change their perception. But you have to first be open to be curious and to tell them about your culture and not get offended if they tell you that you're a tourist, or say, oh, you think I'm alright, well, let's talk about life, what inspires you, what gets you excited, what's your biggest challenge and how can I help you, right? And then over time, like, oh, well, you're not Moroccan, you're an Arab, you're Muslim, like you don't seem to be a terrorist, and that changes their minds. So that's what I learned, and when I learned that, I'm like, well, it's all about, again, human relationships. And it's not about politics or religion, it's just about who you are as a human being. And I want to know what drives you, and we're going to realize that it's the same thing. Wherever you're from, we're all the same people living in this beautiful planet called Earth.
Any question? I can ask a question to the people. Did you understand this application? Did you, if it's ready, did you use it? Probably.
Just the last couple of months, you being a prime example of different people doing different things having to do with both culture and the new ways of tourism. Is that a trend that you've seen as well? And if so, what would you recommend to any young entrepreneur here in Morocco who might have an idea for, whether it's a social enterprise or otherwise, that has to do with music, has to do with culture, has to do with tourism in a new way?
So, one of the things that I constantly think about is how do we democratize travel and tourism. So if I want to go to a different country, how do we make mobility accessible, especially for the young people who are so excited and want to learn and want to engage. So we actually partner up with airline companies, and we identify those people. As last summer, I worked with Rail Maroc, that was an amazing sponsor. They gave us 30 flights just because they believed in the mission. And we worked with Econ in Africa, who's a big activist in environments and climate change. And we sponsored those kids from 30 countries in Africa to come to San Diego and go to training with Tony Robbins, learning about personal development, learning about critical thinking and emotional intelligence. So I'm working very much in hands-on, on the platform and offline to create these type of programs to bring the youth to different countries and give them that access to really their dreams, and anything's possible. And once you see the world, even outside of your city or community, you realize if they did it, I can do it too. And all I need is relationships and boldness and perseverance and maybe some funding, but you can figure out your revenue model eventually. Money is not the end goal, really, and technology is the same, it's the mean. farmers are using their products, whatever that is, you know. That's what excites me. And if you think like me, then talk to me. Don't be shy. Like, you can email me. Might not respond, but you can just ping me again, and I will respond. So just believe in your mission, and I'm trying to think of like the right word because I get very emotional about this. But if you believe in it, and people see that you believe in it, then you can create the impact, you can scale, and become a leader in this space, and work with governments, corporations, institutions, local communities, and people on the ground. It's all possible. So, I wish you the best, and thank you, Mehdi, for having me here today. I'm here for 2 more weeks in Morocco. On Monday night, I'll be hosting a gathering at my home between women entrepreneurs. So I invite all of you to join us. If you want to keep talking and discussing, it's been very fun being here. Thank you.
Merci Yasmine. Comme tu le fais d'habitude, inspirer les jeunes. J'espère qu'on t'aura dans nos prochains événements, Inch'Allah, et qu'on pourra aussi collaborer au succès de We-Mena. Donc on aura Inch'Allah le temps d'en parler avant ton départ et voir comment